Now, going over to the political part podcast, you have Ted Cruz on an activist judge putting a biological man child abuser in jail with women. And you have Elon reacting as well. Now, this comes to us thanks to Elon's ex-Twitter. Elon said activists should be removed as judges. And Riley Gaines actually retweeted this, and she says, absolute fire, blind questioning from Ted Cruz today, bravo. And it's a little bit long, but I think culturally and politically speaking, this is a very important topic. That's going. I think it's going to be culturally relevant for quite some time. It was politically relevant for some time, and even more statistically speaking, rare. Ted Cruz is doing good on social media, which, again, he's very successful in terms of he's gotten voted and reelected multiple times. He's very successful from a political perspective, and I appreciate his stance on the Second Amendment as well, obviously. But I mean, usually on social media, he gets roasted, to say the least. Probably one of the best things he ever did was a parody with the Babylon Bee, where, what was it, 2015? When Trump accused his dad of being like related to the Zodiac Killer. He had a great pun on Babylon Bee where someone comes to Ted Cruz's door and they say, hey, we're looking for this guy, the Zodiac Killer. And just like, oh no, I can't really help you, so I gotta go. And as Ted Cruz closes the door, one of the ransom notes from the Zodiac Killer like comes from the door. I mean, that was hilarious. He was leaning into the meme, which that was pretty clever. But nevertheless, his voice is infinitely better than mine, so I'll go ahead and let him chime off, so to say.
In your court, what matters more, the rights of individuals or your political ideology?
I apply the law to the facts.
I asked a question, which matters more?
Well, my political ideology doesn't matter at all.
Okay, so I don't believe you. And I think this case demonstrates that you are willing to subjugate the rights of individuals to satisfy your political ideology. This case involves a male defendant who raped a 9-year-old boy. Was he guilty of that?
Yes, the petitioner pled guilty to that.
Okay.
Sorry, I should have given a heads up, but definitely not a family-appropriate segment of the show if you have children or youth listening.
So he raped a 9-year-old boy. He also raped a 17-year-old girl. Was he guilty of that?
He pled guilty. The petitioner pled guilty to that crime as well.
So was he guilty?
I hope so, because she pled guilty to it.
He was a he when he did this.
That's correct.
1 year after being released again, he was convicted of having child pornography. Is that correct?
I'm unclear on exactly the time frame that you're at, but the petitioner was convicted of distributing child pornography.
Child pornography that was images of adults violently raping children.
Abhorrent conduct.
Okay.
For which there are real victims.
And this individual, 6'2", biologically a man. A minute ago you said that when this man decided that he was a she, you said this individual was, quote, I wrote it down, sober and entirely a female. That phrase struck me as remarkable. Did this individual have male genitalia?
I think what I said, or at least what
that is a verbatim quote, entirely a female.
Sorry, what I meant to say was hormonally a female.
Okay, but that's not entirely. Did this individual have male genitalia?
Yes.
So you took a 6'2" serial rapist, serial child rapist with male genitalia, and he said, you know, I'd like to be in a women's prison. And your answer was, that sounds great to me. Let me ask you something. The other women in that prison, do they have any rights?
Is that a question you're asking me?
Yes, the other women in that prison, do they have any rights?
Of course.
Do they have the right not to have a 6'2" man who is a repeat serial rapist put in as their cellmate?
Senator Cruz, I considered the facts presented to me, and I reached a decision based on what the law
I asked
is.
you a question. Do they have a right not to have a 6'2" man who is a serial rapist put in as their cellmate? Do those women have a right to that?
Every person who's incarcerated has the right to be safe in their space.
But you didn't think so. You didn't think so. And in fact, I'm going to give some quotes from your order because Senator Kennedy is right. This is not a judge's order. This is a political activist. By the way, the beginning of your order says, at birth, people are typically assigned a gender. I got to say that would astonish a lot of Americans. A lot of Americans think you go to the hospital, a baby is born, and congratulations, you have a little boy, a little girl. The assigned a gender, I know you went to Brown, but it sounds like it's in a college faculty lounge. with no bearing on reality. The Bureau of Prison argued what I'm saying right now, that if you put this person in a female prison, there will be a risk of sexual assault to the women. And you know what you did? You said you didn't care about the women. Have you dealt, in what universe is someone who is a serial repeat child rapist not at a risk of reoffending?
Senator, as I do in every case.
Okay, I know you've been told to repeat the line, I follow the law. I asked a question. In what universe is someone who is a serial repeat child rapist not at risk of reoffending?
Sir, I looked at the facts that were before me in this case. All of the evidence, including the statements of every warden who had supervised this petitioner.
I have to say,
Shit.
if I were the father of one of those women, and you decided that my daughter's cellmate was going to be a 6'2" man who over and over and over again committed violent sexual assault, I would say the entire justice system is absurd, and it is clear on your record your political ideology matters a heck of a lot more than the rights of those women that you endangered. I think you're a radical, and I think you have no business being a judge.
Yeah. He sounds pretty mentally
In your
ambiguous
court,
to me. Again, I don't know. Does Elon think that's a bug or a feature, but the video always repeats itself automatically? Which, again, it was a pretty good video, but I don't want to rewatch the whole thing again right now. That's one of the most mentally vacuous things I've heard all year, which is saying something because we've covered everything from business blunders to political snafus and more. Yeah, statistically speaking, offenders or people who commit those types of offenses have a high propensity of repeating. Which begs the question, why do we allow them to be in society anymore or even be alive is beyond me. Let's just say I'm definitely a fan of the court system going through the proper process and having the option of a death penalty in that case. I know not all states even allow that at this point, but yeah, I would love to hear the compelling reason of why they should be permitted to stay alive after they are had their day in court and they are convicted with beyond a preponderance of a doubt that they did the most horrific things I think people can possibly conceive. And again, these activist judges are terrible. Even like, again, I have friends on all sides of political aisles. I have friends who think adults should be able to transition, and I mean, even no one I know, and let me know in the comments if you have any friends like this. No one thinks this is a good idea. And it's happening more and more. You have biological men who are getting convicted of crimes, and they just said, "Oh yeah, I want to go to the female prison," and it's horrifying. We see female inmates that are getting impregnated in prison because they have biological men in the same area. It's terrible. And of course, this cliche is old as time when you have the politicians being grilled, where of course she's not going to say anything of substance, not that her intellect could actually provide much, but they're just saying the same cliche thing, oh, I examine the law and all that kind of stuff. They're actually saying, well, yeah, it's probably not a good idea to do this. Also, we're in the Constitution. They want to argue about the law. We're in the Constitution to say you have a right to be in a jail cell with someone of the opposite sex or gender, whatever you want to call them. That's ridiculous. And you want to believe it? Got 19.3 million views and 187,000 likes when Elon retweeted this. Yeah, this is one of Ted Cruz's most viral moments. And he should be running this in every political campaign for years. Because again, this has become a political issue, and there are politicians who think it's a good idea to have biological men in female prisons and jails. Which, astonishingly enough, they'll get reelected. There are a lot of voters who think that's a good thing. Most of them call them, people from San Francisco, but I partially digress. Let's go in the comments and see what is the major consensus. Got a Dave Chappelle clip. Let's see here. What did Dave say here? So, I was going to say his voice is definitely better than mine. This is only about 30 seconds long. So, Bank M says Dave Chappelle pointed this out some time ago.
God forbid I ever go to jail. But if I do, I hope it's in California. Because as soon as the judge sentenced me, I'll be like, Your Honor, before you sentence me, I just want the court to know I identify as a woman. Send me to women's jail. And as soon as I get in there, you know what I'm gonna be doing? Give me a fruit cocktail, bitch, before I knock your motherfucking teeth out. I'm a girl just like you, bitch. Come over here and suck this girl dick I got. Don't make me explain myself. I'm a girl.
I got 2,000 views, or sorry, 2,000 likes. Brian Baston says we need more senators like Ted Cruz. He doesn't fool around, getting 2.2 thousand likes. Let's see here. Oh, is this an advertisement? Oh, all right. Specifically, wife Jenny. Election interference, just so they say. Here, C-SPAN. Michelle FJB says, I've been watching the Senate hearing after Senate hearing on C-SPAN confirming the most awful judges you can imagine. Not only do many have very limited experience and terrible records on litigation, their college thesis papers are riddled with communist rhetoric, and they seem to love child abusers. I had to stop watching them because the agenda here is obvious and depressing. Got 421 likes. Mark says activist judge needs to read this book, and it's Dr. Seuss, but it's been doctored, unmildly intended, to say, if you're born with a dick, you're not a chick. Getting 1,000 likes. Joe Quinn Texero says there will no longer be a judge in Brazil. Getting 635 likes. Freedom Pedia says, imagine Ted Cruz as president. Man is smart and always hitting the point. Getting 124 likes. Mr. Reagan says, why do Democrats even nominate such judges? She should be disbarred. Getting 463 likes. Well, it's because a lot of them agree, not all of them, but many of them do agree with that ideology. They think it's, what is it called? They think it's tolerance and all that kind of stuff. What is it? What is the magical political term they seem to use and use as a crutch time and time again? You need to embrace it. The right, no. Let me know in the comments. It's eluding me at the moment, but there's a couple cliche talking points that they futilely use to an attempt to justify things like this. Going down, Metal Mark says we're talking about Altio. We are right, getting 215 likes. Victoria Brownsworth says, so Samuel Alito and Clarence Thomas and Eileen Cannon for the first time, we're in agreement, getting 476 likes. Let's see here. Are you seeing, what is this? Chris Barnett says, are you suggesting judges ought to act as some kind of unbiased person who primarily seeks the truth? What a revolutionary thought, getting 957 likes. I mean, nowadays it is a revolutionary thought. Gunther Eagleman says, immediately getting 381 likes. Desfras says, I agree with this 100%, getting 108 likes. Let's see. Ian Carroll says, agreeing being an activist is inherently counter to everything the judiciary stands for. The point is to uphold the law as written, not to change or interpret it in a new way. Activists should become lawmakers if they want to change. Or if they want to make change. I got 852 likes. Here. JD Sharp says, then you should be talking about Judge Merchan, who the judge who is overseeing the Trump case, who had been paid by Democratic politicians, is clearly extremely biased against Trump. And 501 likes. General TM says, this woman is not a judge. She's just another liberal activist pushing a liberal ideology. She's not even intelligent enough to understand there are only two genders. Maybe the judges should require taking a biology course. Getting 814 likes. And a friendly and sad reminder that there's someone on the United States Supreme Court that that she doesn't know the difference. So Ketanji Brown, who is totally nominated for because she was the best in the whole world. That's absolutely how Joe Biden. Oh no, wait, that's no, actually not. But she, when they were asking during preliminary for the Supreme Court nomination, they asked her, "Do you tell the difference?" And her response was, "I'm not a biologist," which shows how mentally vacuous and how much more of an activist she is. Channel Frost says, and as teachers, and you have some teachers holding up the, can't read her shirt, but they're having the fist held up. The only good thing about that picture, the only cool thing is that there's an old CRT TV behind her. Then you have, they always look creepy, but they have other teachers wearing a Pride trans flag, and then in the classroom, a Pride Progress trans flag. The marketing isn't great. The consistency is key for building a brand. They have gay pride flags and trans flags in the background. Getting 619 likes. Here, Mike Scott, it's unbelievable that this is in the United States of America. Getting 77 likes. Sheepdog Society says Joe Biden has appointed 200 of them. Getting 79 likes. Matt Couch says, holy crap, everyone needs to watch this. This is insane. Putting a serial male child abuser in women's prison. Dear God, getting 43 likes. So interesting enough, not a lot of contrarian statements. Pretty much everyone agreeing with Elon. Granted, everyone, well, granted, if you have modicum of intelligence, I would argue you are as well. But yeah, it'll be interesting to see if this becomes more and more of a political issue and people start to vote differently because of it, or do they just subsequently vote as they always have and these judges just multiply like rabbits or communists? Something to that effect. Let me know in the comments. Are you surprised that these stories are being brought more and more to the light? Do you think more and more people are actually, caring about these stories? They'll vote differently. And then have you anecdotally heard or seen any of this locally in your area? Let me know in the comments. As always, it'd be fascinating to hear what you have to say. Thank you everyone for taking the time to tune in. Again, trying to get to 4,000 subscribers by the end of the month. So if you could click that button, I greatly appreciate it. Also, leaving a thumbs up, thumbs down, or comment is a great way to give me some additional feedback, letting me know how I can make the show better and better. Lastly, don't forget to take the time to tell your family, tell your friends, tell your coworkers, heck, tell your enemies, tell anyone and everyone. Just stay safe, fight the good fight.